Hey guys, welcome back to GeekJ, where we make tech, tutorials, and gaming simpler and better. Today I will be giving you a rundown of my modified mod list. I usually run Transformer Mods 3077 Vanilla Plus experience, but I have some additions and some mods that I have removed. So first up, here's what I decided to remove and why from the mod list. On number 1, we have Wind Begone. I personally do not experience the depth of field streaking of the foliage bug, but I do experience the ray tracing and path tracing kind of broken shadows. Sometimes they tend to be completely black in some spots on the foliage, but for me it's very immersion breaking when I remove the wind completely from the meshes of the foliage, as the trees and everything else just becomes extremely dead and the game looks a lot less alive in my eyes. So it really breaks my immersion. I prefer to have some broken shadows that I don't really pay attention to, if I'm being completely honest, and it doesn't happen all the time with a shadow bug. But yeah, I prefer to have a living, breathing environment instead of having a pretty dead environment. So number 2, I got the remove crystal dome scan lines. So for me, this is part of the immersion of the game, and it kind of makes sense because there are a lot of UI elements that are shown on those, screens slash kind of windshields in the game. So I find it more of an immersion plus instead of a minus. So I don't really use the Crystal Dome Scanlines removal mod. And number 3, lastly, I have removed the better net running hacking reward. And I have removed this mod because yes, it's cool and it's adding some cool extra mechanics in the game. Like for example, if you want to use your quick hacks and stuff, you cannot do that directly. You have to first kind of hack into the network. So you go into a patch panel or something, you patch in, and then you have to kind of do the mini game of breaking the code, and then you're allowed to use some of your quick hacks and proceed into infiltrating a specific area and stuff. The problem with this for me is that it kind of breaks certain areas and quest lines of the game, and by breaking I mean it kind of forces you to go in guns blazing, otherwise you have no option. For example, there was a quest I had to infiltrate in a specific hotel to incapacitate a specific NPC, and in order to do that I had to go through the lobby and then kind of infiltrate or stealthily go through some doors that were impossible to hack because I didn't have access to my quick hacks. I had the option to go through a back door, and there was a security room in there, and it had a camera that was directly pointed at me, and this was impossible to also turn off. If I opened the door, the NPCs, even though I was crouching, would directly spot me. So it was basically an impossible quest to go through without going in guns blazing, and I really wanted to complete it without having to kind of off everyone. So yes, better net running does have some pretty cool mechanics added to the game, and it does make more sense that you would have to just patch into a network and stuff. But since it's 2077, I think it also makes sense that if you have some pretty powerful cyberware, you would be able to hack your way through many of the challenges in the situation that V is put in through your cyberware. Now for the fun part, the new mods I've added to enhance immersion and gameplay. So number 1, I have dynamic wanted stars. This one personally feels like it amps up my game's immersion because it dynamically changes the color of the wanted stars you get on the top right of your screen when you get a wanted level based on your location or who is after you at the time. So it's gonna change if you're in the Badlands and if you're in the center downtown Night City. For number 2, I have Loot Icons Extension, and this one is pretty big for me. And it really makes sense, especially with a limited HUD that is included in the 3077 mod list. Because since we're rocking so much cyberware, we can scan a lot of the stuff in the area, and it only makes sense to be able to identify what is inside a box and being able to enable and disable that on demand so your UI on screen doesn't get too cluttered. So yeah, you'll be able to identify if a specific box has, let's say, some trash white trousers or it has some legendary weapon in there, and you will decide if you want to, you know, waste your time or just go and loot a meaningful box. And it works for kind of everything, and it can be extremely customizable. So you have access to it through the mod settings, and you can either enable, disable it when you are using your scanning by pressing tab, or you can even have the icons always show up when you have your weapon drawn, and other really nice customizations like that. And number 3, this was a big one for me. It's called Tourist Info, and some people might find it too simple, but I disliked the original fast travel points, how they looked in general. It was way too shimmery, and even in native resolution, changing my upscaler from FSR to XeSS and trying different settings and stuff like that, it was always simmering, very disturbing. It would break my immersion constantly. So I wanted to use a different fast travel point texture or mess or whatever. I was kind of desperate, and the only ones I could find were not pretty much my taste, because even though there are some of them, and I'm not trying to dish them out, that are like super sexy waifu looking and they have a very big amount of downloads, for me it was so immersion breaking that I really disliked that. So Tourist Info really makes my game super immersive. It doesn't suffer from that shimmery bug. I want to say it's a bug. I don't know if it's a bug or not, but this one looks so good. That's the main reason I downloaded Tourist Info, basically. It makes them look more grounded, and it really fits Night City's vibe much better, in my opinion. That's my take on the 3077 mod list by Transformer Matt, and if you guys are interested, I'll obviously have a link in the description below for all of the mods I talked about, even the ones I removed and obviously the ones I added. You can join the Ultra Plus community on Discord, where you can find Transformer Matt himself, or Matt Martin, if I remember his name correctly. Sorry if I messed it up. And you can ask him questions directly about his mod list, make suggestions if you want him to add a specific mod, and, you know, have a pretty cool discussion, because everyone there has treated me super nice. They are extremely helpful, and as always, I will say it again, no matter how silly my questions are, and even though I bombard them with questions when I want to prepare for a video or something, they are extremely helpful and always eager to answer me. So yeah, with those adjustments, I love to have my Night City adventures with less dead looking foliage, more immersive icons while out in my adventures and mischiefs, a dynamic wanted star system that doesn't keep me guessing on who is after me, and no immersion breaking looking like graphics or messes around the game. So yeah, if you're curious about any of these mods or want to make any tweak suggestions or mod suggestions, be sure to leave a comment over there, below, where we do everything apparently. Be sure to follow me in my other social media before it gets too smoky over here, because we sometimes stream there live and you can join us. Leave a like, subscribe, click on that bell to get all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching, Chooms. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye. Bye.